And we are live. Good morning, Melissa. How are you on this beautiful sunny day?
Good morning. I am so good. It is a beautiful day outside. I am excited it's Friday. And I am excited to see our first comment already. That means things are working. Yay.
Yay! That's always a good sign. And look who it is, Evan.
It's our friend Evan.
Hello, Evan. Today would be a perfect day for gelato if you were up in New York.
I actually had gelato yesterday, so there you go.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, in your honor, Evan.
That's
But
right.
I do, anytime I have it, I do think of you, Evan. So before everyone arrives and as they arrive, let's talk about a win of the past month. Melissa, what do you have?
Oh goodness. A win for me. So I have always thought about like doing some kind of masterclass or workshop, and I've done them for closed groups, corporate clients. But
Yes.
I'm doing my first one that is open to all registrants. So very exciting. It's going to be in September, which is almost here, and I'm super excited about it.
Oh, and look who just arrived. Ashley's here. Chalote is here. Oh, we're so glad you're here. And Melissa, when the show is over, we have to make sure you put the link to that masterclass in the
Oh, sure,
comments.
for sure.
Or,
Thank
and
you.
if you don't, I'll do it. Um, Wait, and who else is saying hello? Glenna is here. Hello from Philly, and Anne is here. And did I miss anyone? Yes, Stephen Eng and Carlos. Everyone is coming in. Well, while they're all coming in, I'm going to tell you my win because
Yes.
I'm proud of myself, even if people think this isn't a big deal, but it was a big deal to me. So I lost 250 pounds this week, not off my body.
Okay.
Um, I got rid of 250 pounds of paper. So I needed to downsize my storage locker. And as a fellow New Yorker, Melissa understands the whole thing with
Yes.
storage lockers. And it's much more than a locker, it's a large room. But I needed to downsize and move it. So I had to figure out what to get rid of. I went through the file boxes, got collected all the paper, brought it to the shredding place. There's one out in New Jersey that I go to, and it felt so good. And then yesterday, Kathy York, and I don't know if she's here yet,
She
she had
is.
written a post about dumping old procedures and files by the end of the year. And I feel so proud that I did it ahead of time. So that's my big win.
That is a huge win, and I am very impressed. I have my own little in apartment shredder. I cannot even imagine using that on 250 pounds of paper. So
Exactly.
well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And I do have my apartment shredder, which I am committed to now using like on a regular basis versus what I allowed to collect and was stored in the storage room. So we move on. So let's see who's here, and then we can get started. So I'm skipping through to see who I missed. Oh, Shelby came. Oh, hello, Shelby. We're so glad you're here. And Tiffany is here from Wisconsin, and Ann Elliott is here. Uh, and she's in Atlanta. Usually she's traveling or
Like she
she's
got
on a
on a plane.
plane when she's and Kathy York is here, so I hope you heard my shout out. Yolanda Chin is here. Wow, and Gail is here from Barbados.
We
Oh,
have to
it
plan
must be
that trip,
beautiful there.
Leslie. I think we've
I,
been summoned.
I'm convinced to go. Oh, and welcome Jim Perona. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly from Chicago.
Jim is an outlier. He's part of Outlier Project.
Oh,
Yes.
there's a lot of outliers here. Welcome, welcome. And who am I missing? There's so many hellos going back and forth, which I absolutely adore. Oh, and Marlena is here. I don't know if she's in Germany, in New Jersey, in New York right now, but I am so glad she's here. And oh,
I
her
love the
husband called
comment.
in the dumpsters. I love that. Um, let's see. Am I missing? I don't want to miss saying hello to anyone. I think I caught everyone, but we'll come back to that in a moment. So we want to start with welcome to our new viewers. Welcome to our returning viewers, and welcome to Team Replay when they're hearing this. And that includes you, Lynn Holbrooks, because I know you're going to be Team Replay this month. This is Let's Talk About It, Careers, Business, and LinkedIn, episode 34. What you said or wrote versus what they heard. And we're definitely going to have an interesting conversation. So if you experience any tech issues, just know this QR code up there in the corner. I'm having a difficult time pointing at it. That takes you to the YouTube channel where we're also live right now. Also, in the comments, I put this morning the link to the YouTube video. So if you're having any issues, go over there. So let's introduce ourselves. Melissa?
Hi, everyone. I am Melissa Cohen. I'm a personal branding and LinkedIn strategist. I am based in New York City along with Leslie. And I am also the co-author of a wonderful book, wonderful in my opinion, Letters to Lily, which is an acronym for Lessons in Leadership and Loving Yourself. And volume 2 will be coming out this year. So sharing that officially here.
It's going to be the perfect holiday gift. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh.
I'm Leslie Nydick. Besides being a former hoarder of paper, I also focus on sharing my knowledge for communication, negotiation, and conflict management. I also love co-hosting this monthly live stream with Melissa. And besides having a conversation with Melissa and a visit with her, the best part is the networking and the growing community among all of you. So really, it's a heartfelt thanks from all of us, from both of us,
Yes.
that you're here. And we love seeing the conversations going back and forth. So I don't know if we missed any hellos to
Our
people.
most Melissa is here, and she kindly identified herself because she shows up as LinkedIn user.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you're here. And I can't get my thing to scroll up, so I'm missing who's also here. If I missed anyone, we'll get to you and say hello. We're just very glad you're here. We have a question for you, a viewer question, and we want you to put the answer in the comments. So, and I'll repeat it twice because this one's a little long to make sure you hear it. So people expect what they say or write to be understood 90% of the time. Research indicates the actual success rate for being understood is blank percent of the time. So put your best guesses in the comments, and I'm going to repeat it one more time to make sure I could see new arrivals. Gloria's here. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. Angelina, John Reichert is here. Hello, hello. I'm so happy you're here. So people expect what they say or write to be understood 90% of the time. Research indicates the actual success rate for being understood is blank percent of the time. Please put your best guess of the percentage in the comments. And Melissa, I'd love to hear what you think.
Well, it is definitely less than 90. I'm pretty sure of that. It's such a good question because I think to exactly the opening statement, we think we're being clear, but we're often not. I'm going to say it's like 50-50. I really am. I'm going to say we're only clear like half the time.
Okay. And let's see how many people. I see a mixture, a large range of numbers. So Anjanduso is confident it's 70% of the time. I see 40%. And I don't know why my little cute
like me. I see a 55. I see a 40. I see a wide range.
And 70 to 80%, 60%. Oh, and hi, Steve Thomas. I didn't see you before. And G is here. She's got 50% as well. If my thing would cooperate, I'd be able to go backwards. So I know there's a full range because I saw them flashing by. Well, it is 50%. I mean, just think about that. When you say the word, a lot of you are correct or close, but the fact that our communication is misunderstood 50% of the time. If you really just sit and think about that for a moment, that is a bit just even every other word I'm saying is being misunderstood if you just quantify it in that way. When you're in a meeting, when you're on the phone, when you're writing an email, it just really changes like, wow, I really do have to go check in. It just, and that's why we need to talk about it. Like, what can we do to increase that percentage? Because that's way too much.
That's crazy, right? Half the time we're being
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Oh, and Anne Elliot made a great comment, even lower when communicating by text. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, yes. And, when that miscommunication is going on by text, if you're just like in a restaurant, in a library, in a store, if you look around, you can actually tell when it's happening because you see people like going deeper into it and it's like going back and forth. And sometimes you just want to go, just pick up the phone and talk to them
All that.
because so much is missing in the text. So I see a lot going back and forth, and I love the hellos going back and forth. Let's get to the discussion question. So, Melissa, we may know what message we want to convey with our content, with our comments and DMs, especially here on LinkedIn. Yet others may not take away that same message. How can we become more intentional with our signals and our messaging?
Yeah, it's such an important question, and I'm going to answer it for sure. I also do think that Anne brought up an amazing point that's outside of the LinkedIn content, but it's relevant for the LinkedIn content too, especially the DMs, right? Don't assume that everybody understands acronyms and abbreviations, right?
Yes.
This is was a huge thing in my corporate days, right? Every organization has these bizarre acronyms. Every industry has these acronyms. Not everybody knows what they mean, and they can mean different things in different settings.
Yes.
So don't assume that everybody knows what those abbreviations and acronyms stand for. A big one that's important for me is, I have a very dry sense of humor. I love satire and sarcasm, but not everybody does. And not everybody can understand or immediately identify that it's sarcasm or satire, right? Especially you might be communicating with someone who lives in a different country or a different part of the world where is obvious to you, you're being sarcastic or you're being funny, that person may or may not understand. So I think that's a big one that we have to think about.
Yeah. Such an important point with the humor and that what just even individuals, what's funny to me may not be funny to you. And then when you add in those layers of different countries, different experiences, different industries, and I have to say, when you mentioned the acronym thing, I remember one organization I went to work for, and I was immediately thrown in a meeting, and I was there for about half an hour. And afterwards, someone said, "So what'd you think?" I said, "I have no idea what any of you were talking about for 30 minutes." And they're like, "What?" And then I had written down all the initials and acronyms that they
Yep,
had used, and I listed them. I go, there is not one sentence that didn't have these acronyms. So I have no idea what you're talking about.
yep.
So it
Isn't that
was, they're like, and then they actually had a list that like defined them all. I go, it would have been
a
nice to have that
glossary?
ahead of time.
If you need a glossary for someone to understand what you're speaking about, you might want to rethink it.
Exactly. So I want to share for me what happened when we were planning this live. So I sent Melissa an email suggesting the topic for this August live stream. Well, guess what? My intended message was definitely not received as I was thinking about it. Melissa replied with a bunch of questions to clarify what I was trying to say. And when I read her questions, it became clear to me that she defined what I really wanted to do, but that was all in my head and I never put it in the email. And I think that especially when we know people, that becomes more of an issue because we assume they know what we were thinking as if we had a conversation with them. So even with us, it was you forget to say what the full thing of what you're thinking. And then when I read it back, I read it before I sent it. I thought it said everything I wanted. It wasn't until Melissa asked those questions that I was like, none of that was written there, was it?
And I think you're right, especially when it's somebody that you have a familiarity and a rapport with. We think we can read each other's minds sometimes, right?
Yes,
I know that that can happen with, our partners, our long-term friends. Sometimes you just need to spell it out, right? And that's okay.
exactly, exactly. So let's see what people are saying in the comments. And I am again, let's see if I can get it to scroll up. I can see the most recent ones, and that's not helping me. Wait.
A lot of people also have experience with acronyms. I love what Gail said. So Gail has a comment in the
Yeah.
Caribbean. It's not only about what you say, it's about body language and cultural communication nuances behind what's being said as well. And, that is something that gets lost in DMs, in text
Yes.
messages, in posts, right? You lose that body language and those, facial expressions, all of the things that can make our thoughts more clear.
Yes. And now I can finally get through some of the comments. I see something about the body language Anne said. I know that Eden arrived. Thank you. Oh, and and that healthcare loves their acronyms.
Oh,
I
yes.
also, that organization I was talking about was government. Wow, do they love acronyms? And not only, and the industry I was in also loves acronyms. At the time it was construction, so between the two I could never figure out what they were saying. There's conversations going back and forth between Tiffany and Anne, and gee, wow. And Stephen Eng had something. When it comes to content on LinkedIn, I've become okay with conveying the same idea in different ways across different posts. That's a
Yes.
great point,
Yes.
because some of your audience maybe passed over it, and then other times a different part of your audience is really connecting with your message.
I love that. And Evan has a great one as well. I recommend
Oh,
we speak for discussion and write for confirmation. I like that.
oh, that's definitely quotable. Evan, we're going to definitely have to quote that. And then maybe this is some comments that from when we posted the event that I think also answer to this question. Jonathan Hines said, worth auditing our own posts the way a stranger would read them,
Mm,
not the way we wrote them.
yes,
Great reminder.
definitely.
And then Nadine said, the best communicator can't control what others take away, but we can likely prepare for it.
Yes. Yes. Great comments.
Especially, I think of times like if I'm writing an email or some kind of written communication to someone, if time is not the issue, I can have someone who has no idea what I'm talking about read it and tell me what they think it said. So, and that can sometimes bring out some of the nuances if you can have someone else kind of proof it for you.
I love that, right? Get somebody who's not emotionally invested in it, but
Yeah.
also who doesn't have, that internal dialogue perspective. They're reading it for the first time. I love that. I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
And I have one more.
you
I
can.
know we have to move on, but Lincoln just joined us. Hello, Lincoln.
Oh, hi, Lincoln.
As an entrepreneur, I live by the maxim the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. I
My
love
favorite quote by
that.
George Bernard Shaw.
Oh, he said he wasn't sure who said it. So there you go. Of course.
George Bernard Shaw. It's that quote, we can repeat it every day. And I have it on a post-it in front of me to remind me because we forget that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, we don't want to see that yet. So we're
Perfect.
on the
Wait, it's not
wrong.
over yet.
So let me flip through to the right one. I don't know why. So, oh, I think this is the,
Yeah.
we're going to leave it on this banner. As everyone can see, we're going with the flow. My tech is not working so well today, but at least we're here having the conversation. So, next question. Melissa, when we intend, and you maybe you touched on this, but maybe we could go deeper. When we intend to share about our personality and or humor, it can be challenging to avoid misinterpretations. What can we avoid, or what should we do to
Yeah.
avoid those misinterpretations?
So yeah, that's typical of me answering the second question without realizing it. So for sure, right? I think we've talked about acronyms, right? Don't overuse them, especially if you're not sure that the other person knows what you're talking about. Um, avoid. Well, I think we have to avoid humor that isn't clearly understood, right?
Yes.
What we think is funny, somebody else might not think is funny at all. And I would say, know your audience. I've been shocked sometimes to receive DMs from people who don't know me well. And they're again making assumptions about my political beliefs or
Yes.
something else, right? I don't like those kind of messages, right? Unless you know the person really well, don't assume that you know how they think. Don't assume that they agree with you on, I don't want to say controversial topics, but on topics that can get strong opinions, right? Wait
Yes.
until you know that person. And then if you want to have those conversations, I would say broach them. But it's very, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's very uncomfortable for me to get like very personal comments from someone that I don't know very well in a DM, right?
It reminds me of, and Marlena, you might have been at this breakfast. There was a monthly breakfast club we had for 20 years. And one question a person asked me ahead of time, it was some years ago, but it was during a political battle, let's say nationally. And he said, how can we let's talk about how can we manage talking about politics without talking about it. And he said it's because I'm in a group of people where I or a part of the country where I don't vote in the same way many do. And he said that's why I don't like being in the conversation, because many expect, I'm now living in New York, that I'm voting with the majority. And it was interesting that we just had a whole conversation about how to talk about politics without talking about the specific politics, but being aware, because that was the problem he had. He said, you're in this room, whether you're in New York, whether you're in another large city, or you're in the middle of the country, that just because you're there, everyone assumes you're in that majority. And then you have to defend that you're not. And it's like, why can't you assume? Well, of course, we're not all voting the same way. And I think in offices that becomes an issue. And I could tell you that a lot of my business has come from people disagreeing with politics, where it just became part of the conflict that really started, where it isn't how it showed up, but it's what was at the source, that they were upset that the other person said something about politics and what they believed. And they're like, it doesn't belong here. So
There's
that,
there's a very old stereotype, right? Like, don't talk about politics or religion. I think that really holds true, right? Even if I agree with what you're saying, why are you bringing it up to me in a DM? And that's
yes.
possibly about business, right? Or about connection, right? Why?
Right, right. And I guess it's their way to kind of connect, but it actually can disconnect us
Mm-hmm.
a lot. So I started to mention, but I think that what comes up a lot with clients and with myself, when we review what we write, and we kind of covered this, but this is in a different like nuance. We hear it with our intended tone, or we might smile as we're reading it, or we might giggle, and then we hit send. And now the recipient reads it, and guess what? They're not in such a good mood that day, or something bad happened, or they just had an argument with someone. So they're reading it with a very different tone. They're upset, they're bothered, they're kind of ready for battle. And then the two of you end up, a complete mismatch. And it's because your mood or my mood when I'm writing it is not the same mood as the person reading it. And we do have to read for that and read that our mood is not there, even when you add emojis, because an emoji you put there, I might misinterpret, because that's my second point, that we forget how much culture, how much where we're from, our experiences, our moods influence how we're reading that. And especially, I've said it with emojis. Some courses I teach, or training I do, I'll put up all the different emojis and have people write down what they mean. And then everyone's assumed, I said, which ones are we all going to say the same thing? And they'll pick most of them. And then they're shocked. They'll look at someone going, how could you not think that that means, I'm cheering for you? And they're like, huh? We don't do that, like that you're giving me the okay sign. We would do, and it really
Interesting.
depends on where you're from. And we just forget that. It's not front top of mind. We just assume the other person's thinking like us and feeling like us.
I think you make such a good point with the emojis, right? And I've even had some thoughts about that myself, where like the two champagne glasses, right? Cheers for like celebration.
Yes,
But for some people, that's a negative, right? Or
yes,
they're sober, right? And so sending them
yes.
an emoji with alcohol has a different connotation to them, right? I think the emoji one is a really interesting topic. I think we can so easily think that everybody thinks they mean the same thing and they don't.
Yes. And I find it kind of fun, but scary when I do the test of it, because it keeps on getting confirmed that, wow, like even if you pick 10 emojis and go, which one are we all going to say the same exact thing of what it means? And people are like, how did that happen that we don't all think the same? So there's a few people I saw pop in that I didn't even get to say hello to. Welcome, Angelina Spicer. We're so glad you're here. And I said hello to Gloria Lincoln. I see your great comment, and Tiffany and Gil. Oh my God. And everyone's
A
talking to
sheep
each
is here.
other.
Yes, a sheep is here as well.
Oh, oh, we're so glad you're here. Oh, and Kathy York is chiming in. We're so glad you're all here. And believe it or not, we're getting to that point in the show. So I can read Kathy's is the last comment I'm able to see, and I can see she said, we can also listen. I love that, to a message with a text to talk, and
Mm.
to see if it sounds like what you wrote. I do that with, I say my message out loud when I'm trying to make sure it says what, and I'll read it and go, oops, I didn't write what I'm saying.
So
So,
that gave me two thoughts. That gave me an interesting thought. Be careful with autocorrect. Make sure
yes.
if you're typing on your phone, especially, and especially iPhones, lately Apple has gone off the rails. And I will go back and be like, what? I didn't say that.
I,
So proofread everything you
thank
type
you.
before you send it, before you send something you definitely didn't mean. And
And
there's
I've seen replies from you where I'm like, oops. And then I go and look at mine and I'm like, okay, that Apple corrected me from the strangest correction. It changes
words
the whole meaning too.
words that you definitely didn't type. And there's a great conversation between maybe with more people, but I see Tiffany, Eden, and Evan talking about EOD and EOW, right? End of day, end of week. What does that mean? Is
Oh,
end of day 5 p.m.? Is it midnight? Is end of week Friday? Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? Like, this is a great example.
I have a section of my training. I call it My Later is Not Your Later. And it really gets into what that all means. Like, I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm just a little bit late. That
Yes.
could be a whole nother topic to talk about, but I love it. I can't wait to get in there. So, as you all know, the best part of this live stream is the community among all of you in the comments. And we so look forward to being there with you today and through the weekend. I have the date written. I want you to mark your calendars for September 25th because the purpose of this show is also to get the conversations going. So enjoy them throughout the month. And if you want an invite in your DMs, please comment DMs and I'll send you the link in mid-September because I know some people have said it's always hard, they find it hard to find where the live stream is. So I'll put the link directly in your DMs. Melissa, your final thoughts.
I can't believe that time is up already. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who joins us here today, watched live, to everyone who is going to be on Team Replay, and to everyone who took the time to comment. Leslie and I will go in throughout the day and we will respond to everything that you're saying because I see some amazing comments. And I hope
Me
everyone has
too.
a good weekend.
Bye, everyone.